Christian, where do you stand after the trip to Milton Keynes on the weekend?
Yeah, I mean, it was, a game that probably, we could have gotten something from it, especially with the last two, with the chances that we had late in the second half. I think the boys, they played well, tried the hardest. It's those moments where you play against teams, especially now in this moment where we play against teams in the top half of the table, and seeing the boys leaving it all out there, trying their best, being more than competitive, I would say, especially defensively, dealing with a lot, right? And but then it's also for us to, when the chances represent themselves, to put them away. And that was a clear focus this week, again, to get better in both boxes. I think with how much pressure we had in the last 3 games under set pieces, especially corner kicks, and we literally dealt with all of them. That shows how much the team is, how much resilience the team has, how well they're organized as well. And when you then see top teams just playing long and not even trying to play out because the boys are simply in a good shape, that tells me a lot about how well they're doing. But it's then now down to us as well. We might not get the biggest amount of chances, but we need to put those chances away so we can put some points on the board as well for us.
When you assess the system and the setup that you went with for the game, would you still stand by that now?
Yeah, because because you see how frustrated the opposition is. I mean, we talk about teams like Swinton or MK Dons that are all the way up in the table, and when we look at them, they usually play good football, right? And then when you see then with how the boys are set up with the system that we are playing, that they actually only go long and go away from what they want to do. I think that's a testament for the boys, how well organized they are and how smart they are defensively as well. It's then those very simple, small moments that just turn the tide, and at the moment not in our favor. And this is something that we need to work harder on. Right? When we're on the pitch, we need to fight more. We need to work harder. We need to run harder to turn the luck in our favor and minimize the mistakes that we're making.
There were a few late chances on Saturday, but is that final third still something you need to work on as a team? That's now 4 games without a goal.
Yeah, always. I mean, that's a continuous process that we always need to better ourselves. And when you see, listen, there's one thing, right? When you don't create anything going forward, but we got in very good positions, very good moments where we missed the last pass, maybe we made a wrong decision, or obviously we didn't put the ball over the line. So as long as we create that, then you can still be positive and look forward. It would be different if we don't create anything. But the team has so much potential in them that I'm sure with additional 10-15% in terms of intensity in the game, fighting for every inch on the pitch, getting into the face of the opposition, then that can be turned around.
I'm sure you're aware that the fan base is becoming a bit anxious at this point, but do you think the next 3 games in particular are ones that you need to target for any points?
Well, that's our goal every game, and I still think, even though the results didn't go in our favor, I still think you can see a team that's believing in themselves, that is, at times playing really good football and trying to go forward. And I understand why the fans would be anxious. Nevertheless, I appeal to them that the team needs to support more than before, and with the Ember arm in our back, right, and with a positive attitude from everybody. Again, they're leaving it all out there, my players, and with that positivity, with that 12th man that we so badly need, we can turn this around definitely.
Do you still stand by those the comments you made after the Swindon game, that you have been the better side in the most recent games?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, I didn't see it. When you see the game as a neutral viewer, right, I actually would not be able to tell who's the team in the 3rd spot or 4th spot, wherever they are right now, and who's the team at the bottom of the table. I think my boys should way more on the ball, with the ball, Then Swindon also played a good game against Dons. But again, it's one thing to be good with the ball, but then football is a fighting sport, and you need to fight for your right to be on the pitch, and you need to fight for your right to win. And this is where we definitely need to be better, to be more aggressive, to chase down every ball, to run hard. And the boys took that on board really well, because when you look at performances like this, it's kind of a bittersweet moment where you feel like you can get something from it, but we need to just do more every single game.
When you look at the most recent performances and some of the training sessions, do you think some of the players have got a bit more to prove than others?
I think where we are right now, we have a lot to prove to ourselves, especially. I think where we are in the table doesn't really reflect the quality of the team overall. I think there's still a lot more to give from every single player, and it will also come down to performances. Who can help us going forward? Who has the guts? Who has the fire in them to fight for the club, to fight for the fans, to fight for themselves as well, right? I still believe, with 15 games to go, that there's I wouldn't say time. I think that's the wrong word, but because it has to start now. But I don't think we're in a moment yet where we need to get really anxious. As long as the performances are there, and when we add, more intensity, then I think we can turn this around.
I want to touch on the situation in defence. Are you getting a bit more concerned now that the injuries are starting to pile up at that area of the pitch, that the selection isn't maybe as strong as it was?
Well, that's why we have depth in our squad, right? I think we have whoever plays on the weekend, whoever plays in the game, they're ready to fight and they're ready to go. And I still think we have a good balance in the team. We still have on every position at least one option to play, because some of our players can play multiple positions, which is always a good thing to have as a manager. I'm not concerned at all, because I saw today in the training session how well the boys did, with how much intensity they trained, and how much they're willing to fight for the club.
Once again, I'm going to ask you about the injury list. How far along the road to recovery is everyone at the moment?
Well, some players are very close to return to training or to return to play. That's something normal, when you have such a tight schedule. So many games back to back. Obviously, you need to not only look at the fitness of the player, but also rotations to keep them, fresh. And rotations would have happened anyway, right? Obviously, it helps when you have a team or less injuries. But again, with the players that have been injured now for some time, they are on a good way and close to returning.
Will any of those be returning for Salford on Tuesday night?
There could be.
Well, Newport have never won at the Peninsula Stadium, but there's a first time for everything, right?
Again, yeah, all those stats are great, right? But the bottom line is, at the end, what the performance looks like, and that you walk away with a win. That's our main priority, to put points on the table. That's all we're looking for. And we need to go in every single game now that it's a cup final, and that we go there to win the game, and that we leave it all out there.
Well, Salford gave a close game to Manchester City on the weekend. Do you hope that maybe they might be a bit tired from that performance?
Could be, yeah. Again, they have a team as well where they obviously, with their tight schedule, that they have the same schedule like us, where they need to look at rotations, and they will obviously, playing at home, want to put the best team out on the pitch and obviously refresh the legs as well. But again, they had the schedule just like us, a game just like us on the weekend, so we'll definitely see what's coming up to us.
Final question. Are you now confident in the starting 11 you put forward for the upcoming games?
Always. I have full trust in my players. What they hear from me is how I feel. Always straightforward and the truth, but whoever's on the pitch is there because I trust them 100%.